next topic, that is solution design by Mr. Shiben Chakraborty, Head of Operation at V-Logis. Also, I would like to call upon stage Mr. Shah, the young
to each of you. Thanks to my company V-Logis, who has given me this platform to come and discuss with you all, along with one of the very young management team member of our organization, the V Group, Mr. Shah. So as most of you are aware that V Group is associated with this logistic industry and supply chain since last 65 years. So we have been growing from the day one. We have achieved a couple of milestones, and we have kept a couple of milestones for the near future, where I'm sure young, energetic talent like Mr. Jay, our Executive Director and CEO, Mr. Ronak, they are going to show us the path where we are going to take this company to the newer heights. Today, we will start with a little bit of introduction of V Group, which most of us are aware, since many of us are associated together in this industry. And then we will directly move on to our new project, our new baby, which is solution design in supply chain, which is being led by Mr. Jay. I'll be supporting him during this entire presentation. Jay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shiben. Good morning, everyone. And before I start the presentation, I just want to start with a small story. It's regarding this company called Bisleri, which everyone must be knowing. It's the leading packaged drinking bottle company in India. So recently, there was a small case that happened in Bisleri, which happened with Mrs. Jayanti Chauhan, which is the future leader at Bisleri now. So she had, along with her team members, she had gone to this market in Andheri, which is very close by to their corporate office as well. And she, with some of her her team leaders, that gone to inspect the market in Andheri to see how the response has been, of the Bisleri, and what's the demand and the sales been like, So she has a practice of doing it every year, where she just goes to the random market and just a small sales blitz and market research and survey. So when she went to Andheri at one of the busy markets, she was just seeing some buyers at this general kirana store looking to buy some bottled water. And this person at the shop, he spoke to the owner and he said, "Ki bhaiya mujhe 1 liter ka Bisleri dena mujhe." And the shop owner was like, "Ki sir, aaj maal nahi aaya, 1 liter ka aap 2 500 ml ka le lo." And to that, she was a bit shook because given Bisleri, which is the leading packaged drinking bottled water, it has a streamlined supply chain and distribution towards all across India. And when she saw that, she immediately after the day, she just went back to the boardroom, and things must have gotten a bit heated, in the discussion as to how Bisleri, being a leading company, is not able to fulfill the quantities, the SKUs which is required by the retailers in India, given it's in the city of Bombay. So what I mean to say by this is that even the leading company like Bisleri is not excused by the supply chain disruptions that has been happened after the COVID era. This was a very small story which I just wanted to highlight before I start my presentation. And just one more thing before that is with our team, our customer service team at V-Trans, we had done a small survey with our top contractual clients as to what are the main problems that they are facing right now and how is that we can address that, in detail. So the top 3 problems that we've come across through our customers, through our contractual clients, is the biggest problem our clients are facing right now in terms of distribution is inventory management. Is when the fact that they're not able to, come to a consensus as to how much stock that they need to store in the warehouses and at what quantity. That's number 1 problem that they're facing right now. Second problem is also been addressed by the government of India, which is about the supply chain cost. The supply chain costs in India, especially with these MNCs and these corporates, have really shot up after COVID because of supply chain disruptions like transport costs going over the roof, warehousing rentals also increasing in different parts of India. So that's the number 2 problem that they are facing right now. And number 3 is the transit time from the time the goods are being manufactured from the plant or being taken from the port to it reaches the final consumer. Like I spoke in the case of Bistari, there's been a gap or uncertainty in transit time. That's the third biggest problem that the companies are facing right now. And I will just run through the presentation right now as to how we are able to solve these problems. So yeah, let's get started. So firstly, I just wanted to shed some light over the journey of V-Trans, of our parent company, which started in 1958. It's a 65-year-old family-run business organization started by a first generation. And we are the third generation over here right now, standing in front of you. And it started in 1958 with just a few trucks from Bombay to Kutch. That was our first route that we started. And we pioneered in Bombay-Gujarat transport lane. And over the years, we've really grown. And in the last 6 decades, we've really, gone ahead with the time in terms of starting from, say, a telephone, a teller machine, and then going all the way to getting a first computer in 1980s, and then started with internet services. And in 2001 is when we reached one of our key milestones when we incorporated 2 new divisions in V-Trans called V-Express, which is the express time-bound cargo delivery service, and V-Logis right here, which is a 3PL end-to-end warehousing and distribution service. And it's been fairly 20 years, early 20 years since we started the 2 new verticals. And now we want to go ahead with the time. That's what our legacy is all about. And that's how we've been in the leading end of the supply chain distribution companies in India. And now we, at 2023, as we stand right now, we're going through a technological transformation in the company where we are going through a new age technology in terms of a new TMS, a new WMS, and a new ERP system as well. With the good software backing, we also are starting a new division called Solution Design in the company. I'll just quickly run you through that as well. These are some key milestones or key facts about V-Trans, where we have more than 1 lakh plus customers at V-Trans. We have an employee strength of more than 3,000 people working for us. And we have, these are all also we have more than 1,200 plus crore of revenues in India. And of course, the biggest thing right now that we want to focus upon, that the entire management at V-Trans is focusing upon, is to provide tech-enabled solutions to our clients. Now coming to solution design, I will just shed some light, spend a few minutes to talk about solution design and why did we start this new division. So here we basically want to focus upon providing our clients with integrated logistics solutions where we want to provide upon the 3 main products, which is network design, transport planning, and warehouse optimization. Here a major focus is to streamline a client's supply chain in terms of optimizing the logistics cost and to streamline the entire supply chain from end to end, which is from the time a good has been manufactured in the plant till it reaches the final consumer, or when it reaches the port and it reaches the final consumer. We want to partner with the client and support them in entire different legs, could be in terms of primary transportation, could be in terms of warehousing, and could be in terms of the final secondary distribution as well. So you're talking about the 3 main products. That's solution design. Network design talks about the entire network of a client, like what is that, what is the as-is network of a client and how can we help them enhance the supply chains further. It could be in terms of where does a client need a strategic warehouse and how can it reach its customer faster from having a warehouse in that one particular location, and what's the transportation leg beyond that warehouse to its final consumer. So that talks about the entire network design. So here we look at the as-is design of the customer and we do a solution designing and we recommend them with the to-be solution, of a network as to how the network should be, whether they want to reduce the transit time or they want to reduce the transportation or logistics costs, in the entire network. So that's what this network design talks about. The transport optimization, like the term suggests, talks about the entire transport leg of a client, and it could be in terms of primary transportation or secondary transportation. Here, this tool that we have in-house assigns the load from a factory or a warehouse to its assigned transporters. Given the load in any particular day, the software will recommend what truck size to use, what should be the route that it should be taking, and how should you schedule your loads better, so that your transportation is very lean and reaches the consumer at the given defined time. And the third is the warehouse planning and warehouse optimization. Here we look at enhancing the entire warehousing of a client. It could be in terms of a greenfield project or a brownfield project. Here we plan to reduce our clients' per square feet cost. It could be in terms of enhancing the manpower utilized in the warehouse. It could be in terms of using the newest WMS in the warehouse, and it could be mainly in terms of increasing the inventory turnover in the warehouse, basically. So I'll shed some more light as we go further into this. This is our client approach. So here, what we plan to do is, firstly is the baseline approach for us in front of our clients. Here, when we engage with the clients, firstly, we like to first understand the entire supply chain. More than us selling what we do, we want to hear from our clients as to how is the supply chain being taken care of in the first cut. And here we ask them for the raw data as to from one particular region, for example, in Bhiwandi, if a client has a warehouse. Firstly, we would like to understand the as-is model of a client from, say, Bhiwandi or anywhere in Bombay. And what is the baseline structure of a client? How are they moving the goods? Firstly, with the help of data, we understand that. We look at some pain points, because every client we interact with, of course, has some pain points, and we like to address those pain points first as to what is the pain point that the client is facing and why are they reaching out to us. Having understood the baseline, then our solution architects that we have in our team right now, they come in the picture, where we use our software to design a solution, where we run the data on different softwares right now that we have, and it designs the solutions on different qualitative and quantitative parameters. Having done that, the third part is about solution presentation or the implementation, as we say. Here, once we have the solution with us, once the system is run, with a couple of back and forth, couple of customer visits, site visits and all, we come with a solution design where we present the final phase of a solution to the client. And here, the beauty of our design, of our division is that we also implement the solution as well on client's behalf. If the client wants us to implement the solution from a factory floor or a warehouse or from any hub, we have a team as well of a solution implementation, where we also implement this, the solution that's designed by us as well, where we promise the client as to what's the cost saving that we will be promising them once we provide them the solution with actual facts and figures. It could be in terms of reducing their transportation cost from say 5% to say 4.5% or whatnot. So we have a team where we promise them the solution that we'll be providing them with, and the cost reduction as well. So this talks about the playing field. Just assume like one sample client, over here right now, which typically has, for example, one factory. From that one factory, it is catering to 3 warehouses in India, or 3 mother warehouses in India. Those 3 mother warehouses in India caters to, say, further 10 regional distribution centers anywhere in India. A few could be in north of India, could be in south of India, and different regions. And the last is those RDCs are then catering to the final consumers of our client. So here, what I mean to say is that we like to have full control over the factory, the warehouses, and the RDCs, and the entire transportation leg from the factory to the RDCs, because the consumers are the ones where we have no control about, where they're situated in, what is their volumes, what is their order, MOQ. So here, we like to say that we like to help our clients from the factory to the warehouses and the RDCs as to how the distribution should be. So that's where we like to focus upon. So now coming to the main features of our solution design, you would like to know like how are we able to provide a solution to the client. So the first feature is center of gravity, like the name suggests. What this tool does is, it helps you to assign the right location for your warehouse. If you're planning to set up a new greenfield warehouse anywhere in India, what this tool does is, it captures the pin codes, of your clients as to where clients are situated in, and how far are where is the concentration of those clients. So here, if you look at it, the orange dots are the warehouses that the software has suggested. The blue dots are where the clients are situated. So if we look at any one region, for example, south of India, Here, it could be in somewhere around Neel Mangla. This is the live case study that we did with one of our clients. The orange dot is somewhere around Neel Mangla on the outskirts of Bangalore, where the system is suggested for the client to have a warehouse in Neel Mangla, given the concentration of the clients and the proximity to the clients as well. So here, what this tool does is that it looks at the pin codes of the clients and the proximity as to how far the clients are from that one particular dot, that is Neel Mangla, and how fast can the client can reach its customers faster by having the warehouse. It can reach its customers, by example, say in T1 or T2 days, from here. So it actually helps you to have more control over logistics. The entire supply chain leg also is being taken more into control by having strategic warehousing locations. And it's fully dynamic. We take into account the rentals of that one particular area, the manpower, the LR issues, the union issues, and the transportation costs also, the secondary distribution costs from the warehouse to the final consumers. This is what center of gravity does. Next is the network design, like I spoke to you about. So here, if you look at, it's the map, from the first leg of the client, which is from the factory or the port till the final leg. It defines the entire network journey of a client, and it suggests the ways and tricks as to how to further enhance the transportation costs or ways to reach a customers faster. It could be in terms of adding new warehouses, shutting down existing warehouses, or adding a few micro hubs or RDCs, as we call it. So once the network design comes in the picture, it looks at the entire journey from one region, from the manufacturing plant of that one particular region to its final consumer. And how do we further enhance the entire journey? Next is transport optimization. Here it looks into account a transport leg from one warehouse or a factory it assigns the tool, So this transport optimization assigns a tool from a factory or a warehouse to what is the PO of one particular day, and how should it be assigned to the nominated transporter who is assigned from, for example, from Bhiwandi to north. So there's one transporter who is nominated for the loads from west to north. So the system will look at the loads for one particular day, and it will assign the load to one particular trucker, and it will also define the route as well, as to if it should be going through a hub and spoke model or a full truckload model. So depending upon the tool, it's a very dynamic tool which looks at different complexities of the transport journey, and it suggests the route and the the load consolidation into a vehicle as well. So here it further enhances the transportation cost as well and helps you to reach faster. And we've gone one more step ahead where we can further look at adding a two driver also. If it's an express model, if it's a time-bound service, we can also further have some human intervention over here as well and assign a double driver system as well, where we can further reduce the transport leg by around 24 to 48 hours as well in the long route journeys. Now, warehouse modular talks about the warehouse designing aspect. So here, we have a team of warehousing experts as well who look at designing the entire warehouse from build to suit, from scratch. So here, it takes into account the different complexities of a client. If the client is requiring a cold storage, a temperature controlled storage, or a dry storage. If the client wants to go vertical, or if he wants to store goods on the ground, on the pallet. So depending upon the different requirements of a client, depending upon the location of the warehouse where the client is looking to set up a new warehouse, how far is it from the highway, how remote it is in the village. So depending upon the different locations and different requirements of the clients, we also give the client a 3D visualization as well as to how the warehouse will turn out to be. So here we're looking at designing the entire warehouse as well in a greenfield project. Now, ABC or XYZ analysis, like the name suggests, talks about the inventory management in the warehouse. Here, we segregate the goods of a client into three different categories, ABC or XYZ as you call it, which is into the fast-moving, the slow-moving, and the medium-moving goods. Here, the tool is intelligent enough to suggest us as to what should be the storage pattern of the goods, If it's a fast-moving goods, but obviously it should be stored closing to the staging area or at the lower level, and versus if it's a medium or a slow-moving goods, it should be stored at a higher vertical or further inside the warehouse. Here we also define the reorder level also, which is a replenishment model in the warehouse, as to what should be the reorder level and how that should be linked to the goods that are stored in the warehouses. Freight bill audit, as the name suggests again, talks about automating the entire billing process for a client. Because like we work with a lot of multinational clients and different MNCs and SMEs as well. Yeah, what happens is a lot of our clients who do not have the advanced ERP, what we recommend is to have a freight bill audit software where you automate the entire billing process. Because at the end of the month, if a client is getting, say, thousands of bills from different transporters and different vendors, a lot of time what happens is, we've seen in live case studies as well, like out of, say, 1,000 bills, at least 5 to 6% of bills are incorrectly been sent to a client, in terms of where the per kg rate is not defined as per the SOP or as per the contract, or as per the CFT also is incorrectly charged to the client. So what this freight bill audit does is, it enhances the entire billing process with the contacts being moved on into the contacts with the client being moved to the freight bill audit, and only the incorrect bills are being red flagged in real time, and the correct bills have been processed in real time. So that what happens is, the accounts team of the client really saves a lot of time in only processing those 5 to 6% of incorrect bills, and the entire other 95-97% of the bills are being processed in real time. So it saves on the time and efforts and the money also of the organization, so that the only focus is on spending time on processing the incorrect bills. Supply chain dashboard. Here we talk about, we've really made some creative dashboards, using the real, the new age technological softwares in creating the dashboards, where we've gone one step ahead. It's not typical to any Power BI that we're using right now. Here we talk about using the KRA and KPI dashboards, where the management gets an entire blueprint, of where how much is the stock present at the warehouse right now, what is the incoming stock that has been coming to the warehouse, and what is the outgoing POs that has been generated at the warehouse. Here what we plan to do is give our clients an entire dashboard along with the SLAs of the transporters as well. If a client A is using, say example, 10 different transporters, and those vendors KPIs and SLAs are also being tapped in real time, the delivery performance of those vendors are also being captured at the dashboard in real time. So here we want to go one step ahead in giving our clients an entire visibility of the leg, of the warehousing as well as the transport journey as well, where in single click you get to know the entire the visibility of your inventory, the movement of this inventory, and the movement of the inventory, which further helps the organization in having better MBR, the monthly business reviews, with its vendors as well. Because here the vendors and the client are on the same page as well, basically with the help of these dashboards. And lastly, I want to talk about one of the case studies that we did with one of our leading paint manufacturers based out of Chennai. So here, this paint manufacturer wanted to streamline the distribution from the plant in Chennai to southern markets of India and the eastern markets of India as well. So when we came in contact with them, when our team came in contact with them, we looked at the as-is model as to what is the current transportation spend from Chennai to Hyderabad and Vijayawada and Calcutta and the eastern belts in around Calcutta. We looked at the current transit time, the current transportation cost, and we did a COG analysis over here as well, where we looked at the concentration of the clients of these paints in south and east, and with that we came in with a solution where we offered them two warehouses, one in Badurpalli near Hyderabad, where we provided them with a warehouse which is of a 120 kiloliter warehouse in near Hyderabad, and respectively in Dhulagarh as well near Calcutta, which is a smaller facility given the volumes in east. Here we provided them with two new warehouses. Having done this case study, we also were able to look at the primary and secondary transportation costs as well from Chennai to Hyderabad, and secondary distribution from Hyderabad within the southern markets, and from Calcutta and Dhulagarh within the eastern markets as well. So here, the impact of the case study of the solution was is we converted a lot of LTL shipments to FTL shipments, because in the as-is model, a lot of the shipments from Chennai to Hyderabad and east were going in LTL model. As per the order of the distributors, it was either sending in LTL or a few in FTL movements. With our solution, with having two warehouses in Hyderabad and Calcutta, all the shipments from Chennai side having a stock transfer to two warehouses. So here we converted the shipments from LTL to FTL, which automatically reduce the transportation cost, and it also helped them reduce the transit time as well by 1 day in south. So from Badurpalli, it's now catering to its clients in south, where it's helping them save 1 day. And by having a warehouse in Dulagarh, the eastern regions, the eastern belts of Patna, Ranchi, and Guwahati, it's now saving the transit days by 3 days. And now it's also promising a 2-day delivery also to its distributors in Patna, Ranchi, and Guwahati. Now the flip side is, it's now this client is now pressurizing its salespeople to do more sales in East, because now they also get more confidence and more. They become more optimistic also of the distribution pattern in the East. So even the sales of this client, which we were not concerned about firstly, but later we got to know, is they also increase the sales now in the eastern belts as well, just by streamlining the entire distribution journey. And of course, the highlight of this case study was we helped the client to reduce the logistics cost by 60 paisa per liter. And now our future plans is to do a ABC analysis in the warehousing in Hyderabad and Calcutta, and also to have a defined reorder level as well, so that we can further have more control and have more defined replenishment system as well in these two warehouses, and to do ABC analysis as well as to what paints are selling where, because eastern markets are different from the southern markets. The colors, shades, the product code which is being sold in east is different from the south. So we want to further enhance and further do a deep dive analysis as well as to which goods are being sold at which time of the year and which locations as well. And we're also proposing a smaller hub in Vijayawada, because the demand in Andhra Pradesh for this client we're seeing is heightened now. So we are also suggesting a smaller client of a smaller 2,000 square feet hub in Vijayawada. And we also want to further enhance the transportation freight as well, because as of now, the paint manufacturer is using the same vendors from south, and now we want to see as to if we can further enhance the cost as well from Chennai to east and to Hyderabad as well, where we can further help them optimize the transportation journey as well with transport optimization tool. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much for your time, and we can take some questions. Thank you so much.
So before that, I just want to highlight one thing. I'm really happy the way Jay has presented this. We were talking yesterday throughout the day, how this session is going to go and all this. I'm really happy the way he has presented. He has taken you through the steps. One thing I just want to add here, till yesterday, V Group was all about your service, your logistics, your partnering those logistics requirements and everything. Now, with the inclusion of solution designing, we are taking the speed train of that technology to give you cost benefit, because solution designing is a part of V Group. So solution designing will only not only give you consultancy or the ideas or the images, or what I can say, the overviews, how you can save and all. At the same time, as a V Group, since we are into door-to-door delivery, we are into FTL, we are into part load, at the same time we are into warehousing also. So end-to-end everything we do. So we can prove what solution designing is doing. So as a support, I think the entire backbone of the V Group can actually count, they can actually count on those solution technology, solution designs, and we can deliver as a group to your challenges. Thank you from all of us.
So my name is Rajesh Pednikar, and I would like to thank both of you, and especially Jay, for a very wonderful and exhaustive presentation on your new offering to the industry. So in one of my previous avatar with a global pharmaceutical multinational company, we did the same exercise when there were rumors that GST would get launched, and we wanted to optimize our distribution network. The challenges we faced was that in spite of having the best of the ERP software, that is SAP, we don't get data on the volumetric dimensions of the products which we had, and also the tonnages, because if you see in pharma, we everything is sold in units, so we have data on the units but not on the tonnage and on the volumetric weight or volumetric occupation of the load of a truck. So how did you manage to get that data Because the software, your software will, we have done this exercise, the software will require either the tonnage or the volume to get, optimization, to throw up optimization solutions. That is the first question. Second is, since you are also offering transportation solutions and you want to do a solution and, network design, so how will you handle conflict of interest, especially, around companies which require data security? They don't want to share a data on basis of which only one vendor can, apply for transportation contracts.
Thank you, Mr. Rajesh, for your question. So to answer the first question, it's
Rajesh, let me answer you first, right? Your second question comes first to me, which talks about NDA. So we sign NDA agreements, and since we are handling multiple clients, in V Group we are handling more than 1 lakh clients together. And there are there are segments where we work with competitors. So data sanctity, data security is the primary objective of our group, and there is no compromise on that. So that is one commitment, one promise. That is the bottom line. The second main question of yours, I think, if I could read it properly, that when you are talking about getting that volumetric data, right? So now, I don't know, today if you see those e-commerce companies where they are keeping profilers at their TCs, at their hubs, whereby they get the volumetric sizes of each and every boxes, whatever is going in and going out. So those profilers are good enough to give you data. If it is not there in your masters node, that masters can also be created through these profilers. And those profilers can give you actual data, whereby you can see your actual uses of your vehicles. I think that should give your required solution.
Just to add to your second question, so here we plan to also have an independent approach to solution design as well, where when we partner with a client, like we did with the paint manufacturer, we want to, when we come in contact with them, it's going to be like where we are supply chain consultants to them, where we will help them also with the RFQ as well. Not that we will float the RFQ, but where we'll also have a say in the RFQ, where supposing if they're floating an RFQ, it's not like we will be promoting V-Trans, that okay, this is what they're doing, and business should be going to V-Trans or one of the group companies. Here we're very independent about what company the client decides to, come in terms with, basically. So here we also want to maintain, the professional outlook as well. And in terms of that, also in terms of data security, whatever data we are having with the clients, so we of course sign an NDA with them firstly, and secondly, once we get the data, it's just the data that we normally come in contact with the supply chain GM, GM or the VP of supply chains. So they also, the good thing, we've never come across anyone who wasn't not professional or was hesitant about sharing the data with them, because once we sign the NDA with them, we'll not disclose, as to what rate they're working with, say, example TCA or example VRL, at what rate. We'll be very confidential with that approach as well. So keeping that in mind, once the client also has a confidence that things that we are also interchanging, the information is very confidential between us and the client as well. So with 5 companies we work with right now, we haven't seen that approach. So with the NDA talks a lot about when it comes to coming in contact with them. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks V-Logis for organizing this program, and Jay, thanks for the elaborate presentation. I am Sunit Pimple, representing JSW Steel. So primarily my question is for steel and steel related products. A topic which was probably not covered in this is damages to a goods, whether it is while doing the transit shipment or it is handling in the warehouses. And it's a loss to nation when we damage any kind of a product while moving. We have seen not too much of things happening, and probably steel is such a product that in rainy season it is tuned to rust, and then the value of that product is as good as zero. Wherein you supply to all the value-added products to automobile companies, appliances and others, and we face this problem. Is any solution you are thinking right now or in the future about this damage controls?
So I'll have Mr. Shiben to answer this question.
Hi. So got it. I appreciate your question is very, very apt, because when we talk about warehousing, distribution, and managing inventory damages, reverse logistics, and the damages around that, these are a part of the business. Now, when we talk about warehouse design and warehouse solution, no, one of the scope was designing the warehouse. So now we are coming up with a lot of new technologies, a lot of new gadgets which can actually help you to solve these problems. I'm not saying 100%, but to the tune of, say, 90-95%, we can definitely support you. I think we can have a one-on-one discussion on that. And actually, I would like to understand your pain point to the core and to be very specific, and then we can actually work on the solutions. Thank
We
you.
will definitely.
Just one thing I'd like to add, just a small thing, is what distinguishes us, with any of the Maybachs of the world, I'm not saying they are the industry leaders for sure, is that we also have a very strong implementation team as well on the ground, So we might show you a solution, this is how it should be stacked, in the warehouse, or this is how it should be stored in the open body containers for that matter. But we have a dedicated implementation team as well who will be on the ground floor as well, at the company's ground floor, and we will make sure these SOPs have been followed, until a point where we feel that okay, now it's safe enough to hand over the operations to the company as well. So this is where our strength really lies into the implementation of the solution as well. So like Mr. Shiben said,
Thanks, Jay. And I must appreciate your positive approach and energy levels. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope your question has been answered very well. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for such amazing and engaging session? Thank you so much. Requesting you to please be on a stage. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Vijay Shetty, VP and Global Head at Alchem Laboratories, to felicitate Mr. Shiben Chakraborty and Mr. Shah. Can we please have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, please? Thank you. And now I would like to request Mr. Vijay Shetty to please felicitate Mr. Shah. Thank you so much, everyone.